Hello, my good friends. I'm Paul from MotoAcademy.ca. Thank you very much for joining me today and watching this video. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. It would help me out a lot. Also, please make sure to check out MotoAcademy.com. Thank you very much, everyone, for your patronage. I really do appreciate all the support I've been getting from so many different people. It means a lot to me. So please, once again, check out MotoAcademy.com, doing some great things. All right, we're going to get down to what we're going to do today. You're watching the Motor Breakdown. Okay, so we're going to be doing a lot of fun stuff. Not just today. This is going to be a piece by piece project. A couple of main things. We're going to be doing a service on the motorcycle, but uh, the big stuff is I'm going to be removing the wheels from the bike because I want to get them painted. Why am I getting them painted, you ask? Because the last time I got these tires changed, the tire machine left this big score around the rims and a couple of other dings in other parts of the rim. And then, and then I tried to touch it up with some paint, some white paint that I found, and it just, I should have just left the scratches. So I want to get them painted because that was like 2 years ago, and it's been bothering me since. So I'm finally going to get around to getting it done. Going to remove the wheels from the bike. Going to remove the rubber from the bike to make it easier for the person to paint it because this is around the very lip of the rim. So I'm going to be doing that by hand. No more machinery for me. Uh, I can't say yet. I've never removed rubber from tires from a rim by hand. This will be my first time doing it, so I can't say yet whether it's a good idea or not. But we're going to find out. I will say, as a disclaimer, I am not a trained mechanic in any way. I am just a guy that likes to work on his bike. Over the years, I've accumulated a bunch of tools, and every time I do something different, I just buy more tools. I like tools. I like tools that do specific things. I love that kind of stuff. So this is fun for me. May not be for someone else. If you see me doing something, you take that, and that helps you. Great. At the very least, I hope that this is entertaining to watch. And we're going to be doing a whole bunch of things. So um, we're going to get started on the front wheel, and then we're going to do the rear wheel. That's it for me for today. Next, we'll take off the tires. Next, do an oil change. Next, clean the brake. Next, lube and grease everything that's required, all that stuff. So it's going to be great. Maybe clean the air filter while I'm at it too, because it's going to be a couple weeks where the rims will be gone. Without further ado, we're going to get started on the front tire. Let's make it happen. All right, first of all, we're going to lift the motorcycle. That's not even the first step in doing all this, and I'll get to that in a second. There goes the rear. All right, we're going to do the front now. There we go. And easy peasy the rest of the way. I gotta say, I really like these stands. I mean, you can go on sportbiketrackgear.com, watch all of Brian Van's videos. They are hilarious and they're all great. And as a matter of fact, I mean, uh, watching him in those videos is actually part of the inspiration of me doing this. So, Brian, if you're watching, thanks. um, it, anyways, he demonstrates in those videos of how pitbull stands are the best. It's a great video, and they are actually pretty good for a whole bunch of reasons. But primarily, I mean, you saw me moving around the bike on the stands. I've had lesser stands. I mean, these are expensive. So I've had lesser stands that I wouldn't have been as comfortable or as confident moving the bike around with just one of the stands or even with both stands. So I think that these are absolutely worth the money. If you can find them used, which is actually pretty rare, I would say, if you're looking for stands, you find them used and it's a discount on you, buy them, please, and do yourself a favor. Okay, we're gonna start with the front tire. All right, so as I was mentioning before about, you know, picking up the bike wasn't even the first step in the process. The first step in the process was actually cleaning. So basically, if you can, clean the area you're going to be working in is my recommendation. I find that when you're in a clean workspace, you feel better about everything that you do. So that's important stuff. Do that right there. The second step to preparing to work is obviously getting all your tools. I just have a whole bunch of sockets here. I didn't individualize the sockets, so you may be seeing me test a couple things before I get to removing things. The most important tool of all, the absolute most important tool of all, is this thing right here. You need this. This is like breathing air. If you can find the manual, if you have to buy it, the official or a third-party one, please do so. It's basically the best tool in your toolbox. First step is to remove the brake caliper. Okay, so I got a bowl here. I'm just gonna put the bolts inside there for now. This is a magnetic bowl. I'm going to be using a couple of different types of containers to store the hardware, especially on something like this where I'm taking this stuff off and I'm not going to be putting it back on for quite some time. You're definitely going to want to make sure you don't lose anything. I mean, if you have a common bike like this, you can just buy more hardware if you had to, so it wouldn't be the absolute end of the world. But if you had if by chance you had a rare bike of some sort, look at that. The rim is in the way, so that's really interesting. I need to remove this over here. Put that back in there. So we're just going to let this dangle for now. I'll replace the bolts back in there when I take the wheel off. All right, we're going to do the same operation on this side over here. Taking the brake caliper off. Okay, so as I mentioned, I like tools, and I especially like tools that help me work less. So I picked up the Pitbull tire wedge, and this thing I have high hopes for. I always recommend, if there's a tool out there that's going to help you do something better, do something safer, not necessarily faster, go ahead and invest in it because it'll probably be worth it. Again, I love tools that do one specific thing to make your life better. We're going to do the axle now. I got a breaker bar, and we're going to get the sockets necessary. In case you don't have the manual, in case you haven't already seen this on the countless other YouTube videos, socket size for the front axle on the 2019 or 2011 onwards GIXXER. Actually, I'm not sure about that. I shouldn't say that because I'm not certain. But at least on a 2019 GIXXER is GIXXER SIXXER. It's 27 mils at the front. Okay, here we go. Let's find the right socket for the pinch bolts. It is 10. These things you don't have to loosen a great deal, just enough. I like this particular style ratchet with the folding head. You can just fold it like this and do whatever you want. Need a mallet. That's set. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. This is such a nice tool. This makes life so much easier. Wow. No strength required. What a beauty. I forget what this costs, but it is worth every penny. That is amazing. All right, so just so these things aren't dangling, gonna screw them back in. But we will be doing a full clean of these things. Put the nut back on the axle because we don't want to lose any of this stuff. This axle could use more grease probably, but it'll get re-greased when the time comes. I got some fancy pants official Suzuki grease. I don't know if it's any difference from any other kind of grease that you can get, but it's actually cheaper than those other brands. All right, let's take off the rear. Very exciting stuff. Recording from the left side of the motorcycle because this is the more interesting side because of the chain. So the rear axle nut is a 32 millimeter nut. You know what? You know what I gotta invest in? Like a small stool, so I'm not on my haunches all the time while I do all this stuff. Can't believe I have all these years I haven't gotten myself one of those things. So gotta get one. Do not lose collars, washers, or anything of that sort. It'll be a bad day if you do. And as I mentioned, I'm in love with this tire wedge. Just gonna get the handle out of the way since I can. And let's start to raise the wedge. Living on the wedge. Before we remove that axle nut, we're going to move these forward. These are just forward so that things loosened up. Let's just take these out. Here we go. Removing the axle now. Just gonna hang on to it just in case. But not really a huge need because this is the best tool on the planet. Again, zero effort. Everyone needs one of these. Okay. Be careful with the rear brake caliper because it's basically only supported with this one rail here. And it would suck to like scratch my rims again. So collars, spacers, make sure you don't lose those. So we're gonna put this back on the axle. All right, that is literally all there is to it. Again, I'm an amateur backyard mechanic. I have to admit, having the right tools for things makes life a whole lot easier. This bike staying as is. I'm gonna put a couple of blocks under the engine just as an abundance of caution. It's gonna be like this for a couple of weeks, I think. All right, awesome. Well, that's all the time we have for today, folks. Uh, it's just gonna be the tires for today. Tomorrow, very excited. We're gonna be taking these tires off of the rims. I am excited and terrified. We're gonna see if I live to regret my decision. Uh, Thank you everybody for watching this video. I hope that it was entertaining to watch. I'm Polo, and I'll see you on part 2 of this motor breakdown.